Obviously, Raider Nation lost their minds when the news came out. What is your message to them?
Raider Nation, I'm here. It's real.
To them.
Raider Nation, I'm here. It's real.
To them.
Raider Nation, I'm here. It's real. Raider Nation, I'm here. It's real. Raider Nation, I'm here.
Welcome back, Raider Nation and my champions. This is Eric, and we're here live on a special Thursday night edition of our Raider Champion live stream. Normally we go on Friday nights, but I had a previous engagement, so I could not be available tomorrow. We do have a special announcement regarding our next live stream, but we'll get to that in a little while. I first want to say hello to all of you who are already in the chat room making comments. I see Sandy B here. I see Chevy Silver Raider here. Thank you for coming out. And all of you who are also listening, I see a few more of you have not put your comments in the chat box yet. Go ahead and do that. And if you are watching this on a replay, go ahead and put your comments below. I answer and respond to most of the comments that you do leave when I get them from YouTube. But better yet, why not be here live? And the best way to do that is to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notifications, set it to all, put your notifications on your device to accept on YouTube, and you'll be notified of every single one of our future live streams. And then you can be here live and you can discuss the topics with us. So obviously our topic tonight is, are the Chiefs boarding the ship of fools? We know the big deal with Tyreek Hill. I'm going to go over the trade itself. I'm going to give you my grading on it, both from a Kansas City side and a Miami side. We're going to do some updates on some additional free agents that we've signed since our last live stream. I see you here as well, Space for Rent. Welcome here to the live stream. So let's get right to it because we have a lot of things to cover. So first thing I want to talk about, obviously, we do what we call here the rundown, and I like to keep this here fresh. I have updated this with the ticker. You'll see that in a minute. But these are our topics. If you are new here to the channel, this is what we're going to be talking about. And as usual, and as always, we have a question and answer segment at the end of this, so you can put your questions down. We can have discussions on the topics that we're going through. So let's get right to this. So first thing I want to talk about is the poll of the week. And I kind of put this out the other day when the Tyreek Hill news broke. And I asked, okay, are the Chiefs now beatable in the AFC West? They've had 6 straight division titles. And I put here, absolutely, not yet, not sure, and then other. 2-1 margin, basically, absolutely, we're there. About a third of you, though, said not sure. Andy Reid's a little slippery. He's probably got a cheeseburger back there in his back pocket, something going on with a plan B. I understand that. And then I think one of you said not yet. So personally, I think we can do it. I think we have the regime to do it. We're getting the pieces in place. I'm probably in between an absolutely and a not sure. I think we do have the ability to do it. I really want to see this defense rounded out a little bit better, especially since we gave up over 40 points a game last year to these guys. So let's go on to the next topic here. And that is, of course, we're going to talk about our guy here we're going to talk about, and that is Tyreek Hill, of course. Let's go over this. I just put some stats here. So the contract came out. It's a base contract, 4-year, $120 million. Obviously, you do the math, that's $30 million a year. Now, that $72 million of this is guaranteed no matter what. A lot of people say, well, it's probably actually a 3-year deal, but, that's semantics. I'm not really worried about that. But as far as the trade deal goes, Miami had to give up a first, a second round this year, and then a 2, 4, and 6 next year in 2023 draft. Now, Miami did give up that first round pick this year, but it was the 29th overall based on different trades. We can get into that a little bit later in the Q&A session. So just to give you a sense of where they are as far as this deal goes. So let's talk about this. How did this happen? I mean, Tyreek Hill is one of their major weapons. How could this possibly happen? So this is what kind of built up to this. Obviously, they couldn't get a contract going here, the Chiefs and Tyreek Hill. And then I got to say it here. This deal that we did with Davante Adams, it keeps paying dividends. Not only did we get a great player, we finally got that wide receiver one we talked about previously, but also it set a new bar. I mean, Adams' his base is at $28 million a year. Tyreek Hill saw that and said, look, I want more than that. I want at least $30 million. And that's what caused the friction between the Chiefs and Tyreek Hill. He did not want to take less money than Davante Adams. And then he is gone. So it's not only my opinion, but it's also what Drew Rosenhaus said. And that is Tyreek Hill's agent, Mr. Jerry Maguire, if you've seen that movie, is based on this guy right here, super agent. He actually said in this article, quote, the Adams deal flipped everything upside down. Obviously, the bar was raised higher. So it's not just my opinion. The agents are saying this. And that said, how are they going to fill the void as far as the Chiefs go? I'm not a Chiefs fan, but we have to play them. So, what's going to happen? Who do we have to face now that one of their biggest weapons is gone? And I just pulled up their roster. Obviously, they signed a couple wide receivers. Now, Juju Smith-Schuster, he's on a 1-year, $3 million deal. It does have incentives where he could get an additional $6 to $7 million. Not too worried about him. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, former Green Bay Packer, 3 years, $30 million. I'm not going to say he was overpaid. That's probably a decent market value considering some of the other wide receiver deals that we've seen. He's going to be actually their deep threat as far as the replacement goes for Tyreek Hill. So that's their backup plan that I've seen so far. They might likely pick a receiver in the first round. They do have 2 first-round picks, albeit near the end of the round. So what is my grade as far as the Chiefs go? Now, they did get a pretty good draft haul for Tyreek Hill, but he is a special weapon. And if I'm going to give a report card A through F, I can't say if I say it's a C, then I'm going to say it was kind of a push as far as the Chiefs go. I don't think so. I think they kind of lost out a little bit on this deal overall, even with the draft picks. Not so much though. I'm going to give it a C-. They do have those draft picks. They did sign a couple of free agent wide receivers, but still, overall, they're not Tyreek Hill. He is a special player. Obviously, we know about them. We know about him burning us in the past. And frankly, it's good that he's gone in our point of view. Now, I'm going to grade this as far as the Miami Dolphins go. Now, honestly, I got to give this a D for the Dolphins. I don't know what the hell they're doing, to be honest with you. They went and spent first-round draft capital last year on Jalen Waddle. Now they got Tyreek Hill. And I think like ESPN, on one of the social media sites, they put, oh, look at all this speed around, the Dolphins now. And my thought is Tua Tagovailoa, or Tua Latin, whoever you want to call him, I don't think he can throw the ball further than 20 yards. So what's the point of having Tyreek Hill if you can't throw the ball deep to him? So Miami, it doesn't make any sense. I didn't agree with the head coaching change in the offseason. I'm really kind of confused about this, to be honest with you. I think both sides kind of lost a little bit of ground. I think Miami more so with all that draft capital, especially with a younger team. It would have been nicer to have that. I think really the big winners, more so than these two teams, are the Raiders. And, the Raiders, the Chargers, and the Broncos, they have to face this guy twice a season. And I think the gap is closing in this division with everything that's happened in this offseason. So, again, a very exciting time for the Silver and Black. Now, as far as our free agent updates, we did sign a few players. I'm not going to go over all these. Most of these guys are kind of backup players. They might be able to get a spot role. Somebody gets hurt. Somebody like Micah Kaiser, formerly the Rams inside linebacker. I could see him in like a 3-4 setup or backing up Perryman if he gets hurt. I could see that. These are kind of decent types of deals. Of course, they're not like blockbuster deals like the Chandler Jones or obviously the Devontae Adams trade. Then we're going to talk about this guy right here, Brandon Parker. You know my feelings on Brandon Parker. Hey, Michael James, I see you here in here. I just like, why is this guy back? He was just a real big thorn on our side last year in the offensive line. Didn't get any better. Alex Leatherwood was moved inside. I guess Parker was better than Alex Leatherwood. I honestly don't think so. Not to say Leatherwood had a great time at tackle, but this guy was an absolute turnstile. And now he's here, and now a lot of people are saying, well, he's depth. He's depth. You know, he can swing. If something happens to Colton, he can play the left side if we need him. I get that, but well, then who's the right tackle then? If he's just depth, who's the starting right tackle for this team? Is it Leatherwood? Have we not signed this guy yet? Is it Illuminor? I don't know yet. It's kind of up in the air, and especially with the upgrades we made with Devontae Adams as wide receiver 1, this is the biggest need on offense now, and it really worries me. I sure hope he does not see the field this year. Kyler Fractal, outside linebacker. These are kind of decent ones. Now, Demarcus Robinson's kind of an interesting one. We kind of poached him from the Chiefs. It's a 1-year deal. I couldn't, none of the websites I found had the actual dollar values here. Hey, Earth Daughter, I see you here. You're multitasking, winning money right now, but listening. Well, keep your eye on the slot machine and on the road, okay? You can listen. But Demarcus Robinson, a decent type player, nice fill-in player. One of the stats that kind of jumped out to me, average depth of target, 10.4 yards. That's the same as Tyreek Hill. Pretty decent hands. I think this is a decent pickup for us. Of course, it's not a Devontae Adams, but it's nice to have depth, especially if Bryan Edwards continues to falter. This is not a bad pickup here. A kind of guy who can move the chains. I like it. And it's just another guy, they're going to be covering Waller and Adams and Renfro. This guy could be wide open and get a score for you, or score for us. So I'm good with that. And then a couple of interior defensive tackles. Kyle Pico, formerly of the Titans. Not really. I think he had like 2 sacks in 2021, but he's only played 20 games in the last 5 seasons. Again, more of a depth piece, maybe practice squad. Vernon Butler, a little bit more interesting. In 2019 for the Carolina Panthers, he had 6 sacks, 22 tackles. I'm interested to see maybe this could be like the next Solomon Thomas that we had last season. We're like, what's going on? And he was relatively cheap. You can see the values here. And then we brought back Kendall Vickers. He was kind of a fringe practice squad guy, fringe regular squad guy. He's back on a deal that's worth about a little under $1 million. I don't mind that, especially with Darius Philon. I'm a little concerned with that. If you haven't heard, he's had some setbacks, had to have another surgery on the knee. I don't know. I don't even know if he's going to be available this upcoming season. So let's just update the defense now. In my last video that I did, my last live stream, I updated these and I updated some other ones. So this is where they would basically kind of fit in. Again, we're getting kind of depth pieces. I'm still kind of concerned about this defensive tackle spot. I'd love to get a guy like Larry Ogunjobi, who failed his physical with the Chicago Bears. They decided to terminate the contract that was signed based on medical. I'm interested to know. I couldn't find any additional information if it was based on the foot or something else. If it's the foot, I'm hoping that he does recover. That guy's a special talent. I would be willing to pay him a little bit more money just to have a stalwart here right next to Max Crosby, Chandler Jones. And then we could talk about guys like Stephon Gilmore. He would be a welcome addition. We're still hearing this nonsense about Is he going to sign? Is he not? He's here. He's there. There's reports all around, all this nonsense and the head string. I kind of akin it to the words and the talk we were hearing about Richard Sherman last year. That was practically going to be a done deal. And I even made a video on Shermer because it was going to be like tampering because it was before the free agent period started and Gruden was opening his big mouth about it, but we never signed him. So I'm not sure if we're going to get him. Of course, he's a former Patriot, so you got that, but you never know. And then the other guy, Tyrann Mathieu, Honey Badger, plays strong safety, could be an upgrade. Abram could very well be on his way out. Like I said, he's got the 5th-year option here in orange. However, he hurt the same shoulder last year. The way he plays, I'm really concerned about his being able to stay healthy, his durability. If we could get the Honey Badger, I don't know how much we'd actually have to pay him, but we do have a little bit of money to play with. I think the prudent thing to do would be able to get Gilmore, get another corner here. You can always stock up on corners, especially this is a passing league. I think we have the pass rushing side secure with the exception of some interior presence I just talked about. Now let's go get a corner. As far as the offensive side, this is where we looked at right now. Backup quarterback. Now there's talk that they were bringing in Trevor Siemian. Again, I don't mind it because the linchpin's going to be Derek Carr for this season. Trevor Siemian, former Denver Bronco, I think he was with the Saints last year. Not a very good quarterback. Obviously, one of the many picks that John Elway used that didn't really pan out there. So I'm not too concerned about it. It's kind of a minor signing. Of course, we have Parker here, and just kind of round this out. Again, this one's probably the best one that we've had since last week with Devontae Adams. Obviously, I think Demarcus Robinson could turn some heads on this offense. Now, I did say I had one more announcement to make, and that's right. I'm going to be going live, and as I normally do, I can't go on Friday, but I'm going to do an extra live stream this Saturday, and we're going to be doing the Mock Draft 2.0. Now, I know we got rid of our first and second round picks to get Devontae Adams. We're going to be starting in the 3rd round, but it's going to be very interesting to see who's going to be available and who we should be picking to fill the rest of this roster out. So we have a lot of fun with this. Come on out and join us. Now we're at the moment where we're going to be going to our question and answer segment. I want to see what you have to say about that. I see a lot of scrolling here. Let's see. I'm going to be looking at your comments. I'm going to scroll up, see what you guys have to say about these things and about the topic. What are your views on Tyreek Hill? I'm going to ask right now, who do you think won this trade? Was it, do you feel, had got the better of the deal? Was it Kansas City or was it Miami? So go ahead and vote right now. We can look at that right now. Also, do you feel that the Raiders can legitimately take this division now? That's a question I have right here. That's why I have it on the scrolling. This is a big question because honestly, I think the Chiefs have taken a step back. I mean, you can fill out that spot, but Hill was a special weapon. He could stretch the field. Not to say that MVS couldn't, but definitely not the way Tyreek Hill does. I know they have Mecole Hardman still. Again, not the same player. They're not gonna be as good on offense. They did shore up that offensive line. I'm still a little questionable on the Chiefs' right side. But Orlando Brown, they franchised. He'll be there as their left tackle, so they're good to go there. But I'm wondering how close are the Raiders and the rest of the teams in the division now to Kansas City? Are they beatable? They've had a 6-year stranglehold on this division. I want to know what you have to say about that as well. Let's see. I'm going to scroll down right now. I'm going to see what you guys are saying. Space for Rit says, shake my head at the Hill contract. Well, I kind of get it. I don't think he's worth $30 million, especially on a team like Miami. Like I said, I don't see Tua throwing the ball very deep, and that's the specialty. Now, Michael James did say screen slants and RPOs. That's possible. I get that. It's not going to be all bombs, but that's where a guy like Tyreek Hill made his money. He broke our backs. He broke other teams' backs, with those bomb type plays. I just don't see Tua Tagovailoa doing that, or Tua Latin, if you want to call him that. That's his nickname for him, my nickname for him. Let's see. Win that money. Earth Daughter, I hope you're winning the big jackpot there. Sounds like you're at the casino. But I do appreciate you coming here and at least listening. So pay attention to your slots and win a lot of money. Bonus round. Awesome. So Dominique, I see you you come in here. Welcome here. Let's see. Wow. I'm looking at the votes now, and it's pretty close. It's almost 60-40 KC. Got the better end of this Tyreek Hill deal. I'm going to have to agree with that. Like I said, you saw my grades. I gave them a C- because I didn't grade it on who won the trade. I looked at it from the team standpoint. And to me, a C grade would be an average grade. That means kind of a neutral grade. They kind of pushed. I don't think it was a push. I think they took a little bit of a step back. Not a huge step, but a little bit of a step. But Miami, of all the teams, I don't really understand why Miami would do this, to be honest. And there's going to be a lot of good talent in this draft. And they gave up 2 first rounds. And, frankly, they're not close enough. I could see the Raiders pulling the trigger on Devontae Adams. They were a 10-7 team. They almost beat the future AFC champions, the Cincinnati Bengals, in the first round. They almost tied that game up, went to overtime, played solid down the stretch. I could see that with a new regime. You get the guy, Derek Carr's buddy. He's also arguably at least the top 3 wide receiver, if not arguably the best wide receiver in the league. But with Miami, they're not close enough. And again, I really question Tua. Now, I know the last time we played them, not very good. 2 years ago, Fitzmagic had to come in and, Arden Key pulling on the face mask and all that nonsense, and they had to win a miracle game. But Tua didn't do jack in that game, okay? I'm not convinced with it. Plus, they already used, was a 6th overall pick last year, I believe, on Jalen Waddle. Why did they have to go and get another wide receiver? Didn't make a whole lot of sense to me, to be honest. I think they would have been better served to bolster the offensive line. I think their defense is okay. Maybe another pass rusher. There probably would have been a decent one falling down at the end of the first round. Let's see. Dominique said, I think both teams won the trade. It's good for both teams, Miami and KC. Yeah, I disagree. I think both teams overall took a little bit of a step back. I think Miami even more so. Again, didn't make any sense to me. EC Everett, welcome to the chat. You said KC won. Tyreek's going to be a problem for them, in my opinion. Or Tyreek was going to be a problem from them, in my opinion. It's not a happy parting, but long-term smart, maximize the value and move on. Yes, I agree, and that's why. But I didn't feel that they improved themselves overall, even with the draft picks. Again, they got a 1, 2 2s, a 4, and a 6. Pretty good draft haul, but again, that first one is at the end of near the end of the first round. So I'm going to assume they're probably going to draft a wide receiver in the first round with one of their 2 picks, the Chiefs. So, but again, that's not guaranteeing anything. I think there was a lot of good rapport. I think the Chiefs have been kind of slowing down a little bit. Not as dominant as they were a couple years back. And this is just another step. And with the rest of the teams reloading or, to try to go after them, this is going to be a very interesting division. It's going to be a tough division. It's going to be wide open, right? Denver has had no real quarterback since Peyton Manning. Let's face it. And now they got Russell Wilson. Now, he did have kind of an off year last year. Is that a sign of things to come, or is he going to bounce back? But still, a future Hall of Famer, this guy, Russell Wilson, awesome player. But we'll see what he does. Obviously, San Diego, Los Angeles got Khalil Mack. I think he's okay. I think he had his best days with us. I think his first year with Chicago was pretty good, and then he's been okay. I don't think he's like this all-world player anymore. He's probably taken a step back. And they also got J.C. Jackson, but the middle of their defense is still a question, the Chargers. So, but I think that you have another year with Justin Herbert coming in, third year. That guy's for real. It's going to be very interesting. I'm wondering if the Chiefs defense can handle these offenses, to be honest with you, from all three of the teams. Let's see. Tutter says she's winning. Well, good for you. I'm glad you're winning. I do appreciate you guys coming out here. And once again, if you do have any comments, put them here below. This is where we have our question and answer. And it's not just about Tyreek Hill. We can talk about the other players we've recently picked up if you want to talk about them. If you want to talk about Davante Adams, if you want to talk about the holes that we need to fill overall. Again, Saturday, I'm going to be coming on here live at 6 o'clock. We're going to do some more mock drafts. We did this before. I know we're going to be starting in the third round, but honestly, this is exciting anyway. It's going to be interesting to see who's going to be available in the third round and what we should be targeting. Now, I have some early thoughts on that. Obviously, defensive tackle, offensive tackle would be an option. Linebacker would be an option. I think there are going to be some good linebackers that are going to fall in the third round. And also remember, we have 2 fifth-round picks back-to-back. And the first one was from New England for Mr. Big Mac, Trent Brown. So there's still going to be a lot of good talent, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I'm not so sure about the offensive tackles that are going to be left in the third round, but it's a need that we have that, to me, I don't feel we've adequately filled in free agency right now. You know how I feel about Parker. Illuminor is a solid guy. Can he do it? I know he's played guard. I know he's played tackle before. Can he be a starting right tackle? I'm not so sure. And even if he can, I want another tackle because I can't stand Parker. I don't trust Parker. I'd like a veteran presence. I talked about a guy like Bobby Massey, a decent guy, not a world beater, but a decent guy, and he's not going to break the bank on you. So, and it would be good for depth as well. And he's still out there. He's still a free agent. So I encourage you to come out and join us. And if you're not here live, why not subscribe to the channel and be here live with us to have these chats. We're going to go over these subjects. We come on at least once a week, and this week we're going on twice this week. We talked about the Tyreek Hill trade. I was initially going to talk about a different topic, but of course this blockbuster trade with Tyreek Hill, it creates a vacuum they're trying to fill with MVS. I'm not so sure if that's going to work. Not to say Marquez Valdez-Scantling is terrible, but he's definitely not Tyreek Hill. I'm interested to see this. Like I said, it's like a horse race. They're kind of falling back to the pack a little bit, and the other three teams are kind of catching up. It's going to be very exciting. And we're also going to be doing the live stream. So if you're seeing this between now and this Saturday, the 26th, why not subscribe and then hit that bell notification, set it to all. That way you'll be notified. And what we do is we go on to various websites and we have mock drafts and we can do trades and we figure out the team needs. And it's kind of, like I said before, the first time we did this was like 1.0. This was before free agency. We didn't really know who we were going to get. I was thinking we're going to get a wide receiver, maybe Brandon Cooks we'd trade for. We ended up getting Davante Adams in a trade. So now the picture is kind of getting a little clearer. It's kind of coming into more focus as this roster is shaping up. There are a few guys that are probably going to make the team. Overall, besides Jones and Davante Adams, not a lot of huge signings, but those were two big deals, acquisitions anyway, one in a trade and one obviously with free agency, especially the upgrade with Yannick Ngakoue. We ended up getting Rock Ya-Sin, a pretty good man cornerback, something to fit the bill. I think it's a plus. I would rather have Rock Ya-Sin and Chandler Jones than Yannick Ngakoue for sure. So let's see. So again, hit the thumbs up button. It tells YouTube, hey, spread the word. It's so wonderful. You know, you gotta appease the YouTube algorithm and all that nonsense. But hit the thumbs up button if you are enjoying this. And if you're new to the channel, why not subscribe so you can see this live? Let's get back to the questions here. So Space for Rent says, what do you think of the Duron Harmon signing? Is this the end of the Honey Badger quest? I don't necessarily think so. I'm wondering, because I think this is more, I think Duron Harmon is more of a free safety, and Honey Badger plays more of the strong side, but he can kind of interchange that. I think this is pretty solid depth behind Merrick. Merrick had a a pretty darn good rookie campaign. I'm looking forward to seeing him with some new coaching, and we talked about with the new coaching staff. So I'm not saying that necessarily, but personally, I'd rather go get Stephon Gilmore and pay the money for that. I think corner is a bigger need, in my opinion, right now. Sick with it says, Champ, what would you like the Raiders to pick up in the draft? My answer to you is come Saturday, and we're going to be doing the mock draft. Obviously, we're going to be starting in the third round. As usual, it's going to be 6 o'clock Pacific, 9/8 Central. We're going to be going over various mock drafts. I'm going to let you know what I think, but I generally let you guys make the picks, and then we kind of analyze it at the end and say, okay, yeah, we did this, and maybe we shouldn't have done that. Like I said, it's a lot of fun. Again, it's all going to depend on who's available. We had to give up our first and second round picks this year for Devontae, which I'm fine with. I don't think we would get that same value if we kept the picks, so I'm good with that. But again, what's going to be available? So our next pick is at 86. So come join us Saturday, and we're going to find out. We're going to do a number of sites. We're not going to just do one, so we can kind of see the types of players that are going to be involved. We'll have a better idea. Let's see. Sandy B says, I'm trying to read this. She's got a math problem here. 4 equals by 15 in chat. I'm not so sure what that means. X minus 2. Maybe I'm reading that wrong. I'm not so sure. But let's see. Kerry Williams is here. I see you popping in here. How you doing? Kerry says, keeping Parker wasn't a good idea. I hope he isn't a starter. I couldn't stand him. If you're a longtime viewer of the channel, longtime subscriber, I also do weekly game reviews and previews, and I have just lambasted Parker. I can't stand this guy. One of my game reviews, I put a picture of an actual turnstile, because that's how I feel he is. He's just basically like a turnstile at Disney, letting everybody across on the edge. I've had enough with him. I saw him as an unrestricted free agent. I'm like, oh, finally, we're done. And I'm like, what? We're going to keep this guy? Why? I don't understand why. I don't get it. I didn't get the signing. And most of his money, it's like $3 million deal. I just showed it. And most of it's guaranteed. So I'm hoping it's for depth. I'm hoping it's an emergency in case something, God forbid, happens to Colton Miller. He can play the left side. Maybe he'll be better on the left side than the right side. I'm trying to be optimistic. I wouldn't have signed him, but it is what it is, and we're going to have to move on. Again, I want another vet offensive tackle for depth at this point. Jay Smith, how you doing out there? You say, I love the show. Keep up the stellar work. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And I appreciate you showing up here as well and contributing here. So the show's only going to be as good as you guys contributing as well. So I do appreciate that. If you want to talk about something specific or have a specific topic, we can do that. Again, I do a lot of things. I try to do some of the news, but try to do some different things too. I try to keep it fresh and, change it up a little bit. And like I said, last year, I was doing the mock drafts last year as well. Had a lot of fun with them. I do encourage you to come out this Saturday, 2 days from now, 6 o'clock Pacific, 9/8 Central. And we're going to do a mock draft 2.0. Of course, we're going to be starting in the third round, just like the Raiders. Jay Smith also says, I very much enjoy the front office viewpoints. Absolutely. So I hope you like the aesthetics. I hope you like the show. I hope you like the rundown. We have topics. We try to keep it fresh and exciting. Thank you again for your comments there. I really do appreciate that. Dominique says, I really want us to sign Eric Flowers to play left guard and Billy Turner to play right tackle. Eric Flowers has been in the league a while. I wouldn't mind it. A lot of people are I'm kind of mixed on John Simpson, to be honest. There's games where I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Then there's other games where I'm watching. I think it was was it the Charger game or the Colts game? I'm trying to remember. But I was focusing on John Simpson, and I'm like, whoa, not bad. Oh, not a bad block there. Oh, good job. And I was like, oh, he didn't do too bad in this game. So I'm going to temper my expectations. I think he was like a mid-round pick, a third or fourth round pick from Clemson. I remember when I first talked about him, I believe I said he was from Alabama a long time ago. Somebody corrected me as, yes, it was from Clemson. I made a video on that when we drafted him. But I wouldn't mind it. I'm wondering with Eric Flowers, lot of tread on those tires, or not a lot of tread left on those tires. Billy Turner be a decent play as well. So I just want to know. I want a veteran tackle presence. That's why I went. Not named Brandon Parker. Kerry Williams says he's a lay down. He may just stand there or fall down. And not just him, Leatherwood too. That whole right side was problematic, and it created a lot of problems for Derek Carr with timing and everything. I'm not a Carr lover, and I'm not going to give excuses. Some of the stuff, and when he did bad things through bad passes for picks, I slammed him on game reviews. But a lot of it is he didn't really have the time. I'm concerned if we don't fix this situation, whether Leatherwood's going to stay at guard and get better or move to tackle. If we don't fix this situation, Carr's going to be running for his life. Again, I'm not convinced Brandon Parker. I'm not so sure she'd even be on a roster, let alone starting anywhere. Definitely not starting anywhere. Maybe as a backup. So, again, it's a full team. It's 11 players there on the field. So, if he allows somebody to come in unchecked, and Devontae Adams beats his guy, and Carr gets hit, that's a strip sack. And then you hear the call here. It is, oh, Carr sucks. He's terrible. He's holding on to the ball too long. Blah, blah, blah. If you look at the play, Brandon Parker gives no resistance, little to no resistance, or Leatherwood's grabbing a backup defensive tackle and creating another penalty, another holding penalty, negating a big run by Josh Jacobs in Cincinnati game. Hey, Husker Raider, I see you here. You made it. Traylon Burks is probably not going to be in the cards now, obviously. We gave up our first 2 picks in the draft, so if he did, he'll probably go, I'm guessing, late first, early second. But I did do a video on him. I did some combine videos. If you guys haven't checked those out, if you're new here, some of the guys I was looking at maybe possible first-round picks. I did get in a little bit of trouble with copyright, but I don't really care. I wanted to do it anyway. I didn't get a strike, but they put a copyright claim out. I told them it was fair use and to leave me alone, so it's okay. But they were pretty interesting. Burks was okay in the combine. Not stellar. Not terrible, but not stellar either. I like Penning. I wish we could have got him, but since we got Devontae Adams, that's not going to happen in the first round, unfortunately. So, let's see. Dominique, how's your shoulder doing, by the way? I know you talked about the shoulder surgery last week. How you doing with that? I'll just throw that out there. You can put in the comments below. Let's see. Space for Rent says, some people saying Jacobs or Trayvon Mullen could be on the trading block. Well, if you looked at the defensive side of the ball, I mean, you got Perryman, you got the safeties, and not even the safeties. I'm gonna say Merrick, Perryman, and Max Crosby are pretty safe. Everybody else on the defensive side of the ball, that was from last season. Well, you could probably include Divine Diablo as well, but yeah, I've heard the stories about Mullen too. But why would you trade Mullen if corner's a tough position to fill, uh, unless you totally think he can't fit the bill? Then to me, maybe we do go get Gilmore, and then the next thing you know, Mullen's going to be traded, just like when we picked up Chandler Jones in free agency. Next thing you know, Yannick's been shipped to Indy. That could happen as well. So let's see what else we got talking about here. So Kerry Williams also says, want to see what we get in free agency to make any mock drafts, see where our weaknesses are at. We have signed a lot of people in free agency, couple of big splashes. Obviously with Chandler Jones, Devontae Adams trade. You could say Rock Ya-Sin is kind of a medium splash. I wouldn't call that a big splash. And then some depth pieces, I would say, obviously, for the most part. Demarcus Robinson's, like I said tonight, I think that's a very interesting little signing. I would be interested. I couldn't get the numbers. I want to see how much we actually paid for him. It's a 1-year deal. I couldn't find the terms in either Over the Cap or Spot Track. So, and then I kind of looked around the internet. I couldn't find it either. It hasn't been released yet. So, be very interesting. I think he could be a nice little weapon too that people are going to forget about, especially with Waller and Renfro and, of course, number 17. Space for Rent says, how about offensive guard Will Hernandez from the Giants? He is still young. How much is he going to cost? I'd have to look at how much he's going to cost us. I really don't want to spend a ton of money on guards play. Honestly, I would rather spend that on offensive tackle, specifically right tackle and cornerback. That's where I want to put more of my money at. So decent, but again, I'd have to look to see how much it costs. So Eric Flowers is only 28, I believe. Yeah. Yeah. Again, and another. He used to play tackle and he moved to guard, right? Eric Flowers. So yeah, doesn't Flowers have back issues? He's had some injury issues in the past. I would kind of temper that overall, unless we can get him on the cheap, which I don't think we will. Kerry Williams says Leatherwood has a little potential. I think he has a lot of potential. I know I knocked him a little bit during the season, but honestly, Colton Miller did not look very good in his first year, and now I'm going to say he's at least a top 10 left tackle, probably fringe top 5 left tackle, in my opinion, Colton Miller. So I'm optimistic about Leatherwood. I'm wondering if we're actually going to move him to right tackle. I'm assuming they've already made that decision one way or the other, so they can fill the spots in accordingly. Let's see. Husker Raider says, I'd rather have Devontae Adams. Yeah, but I'd die if he went to the Chiefs. Well, yeah. Like I said, you missed out, Husker. We talked about Tyreek Hill. I think the pack is getting closer to the Chiefs than they were, especially like 2-3 years ago. They were like dominant, and now it's like, they're good, but they can be had. Before it was a little ominous, and we were kind of rebuilding and a new coach and a new this. But honestly, we have a new coach. We have a new regime, but to me, it feels different than it did with Gruden and Mayock. It feels, well, first of all, I think they're a lot more competent, and I've talked about that before. If you look at my channel, I did several videos where I graded Gruden every year. If you want to take a look at that, I'm not going to go over all that, but this group, I have a lot more confidence in making right decisions. Obviously, we'll see. I think the big factor is going to be Josh McDaniels, his second time around as head coach. Does he get it this time? I think a lot of his issues last time were immaturity. He's even said it. So, like I said, it'll be very interesting to see this season. Got a lot more talent. I think we got a lot more talent on the team. I think Chandler Jones is an upgrade over Yannick Ngakoue overall. Devontae Adams, a true wide receiver 1 now. Few more holes to fill. Again, I'd like to get a backup running back that can run between the tackles. I think the guys we've signed thus far, I I don't think they can I want a little bit more power there. Little less scat, a little more power, in my opinion. Let's see. Kerry Williams says, I look at what Carr had to work with and all the coaching changes of play calling. No consistency will throw someone off and not be at their best. Absolutely, especially with the timing between the receivers. Now, we saw like that one play with Miami last year where it looked like Carr gifted the defense a pick six, and friggin' Foster Moreau stopped on his route. He stopped on his route. So he threw it where he was supposed to be. Bloop. It was like Christmas came early for those guys. So again, timing's everything. And I think that with Davante Adams there, if you looked at the interview with Davante Adams, the last 2 years, he said he hadn't worked out with Carr, but every year before that in the offseason, he worked with Derek Carr. They played together in college. I think things are going to pick up right away with him. I'm hoping he doesn't like totally have tunnel vision on Davante Adams. There are other guys there. If he can evenly distribute the ball and have a decent amount of time, this offense is going to be scary. It's going to be absolutely scary. We need a running back to keep these guys honest. I like Josh Jacobs, but he doesn't stay healthy. So we need a between the tackles guy that can punch, first downs, move those chains. Like I said, this offense is going to be scary. And of course, if the offense is good, that's going to put more onus on the other side with the defense and their offense to try to keep up with them. And, we can rush the passer more. I'm hoping we blitz more since Gus Bradley's not here anymore, especially if we're not getting to the quarterback. Chandler Jones still has a lot left in the tank, I think. At least 2 or 3 more years in the tank, in my opinion. Like I said, a more of an upgrade than Unique Ngakoue. And can play the run a little bit better. I think he's kind of an average type run defender, but where Unique was just non-existent, to be honest with you. Let's see. Dominic says Casey is not done adding weapons. Hopefully they don't trade for DK Metcalf. That would be interesting. I'm wondering what Seattle's going to do with DK Metcalf. Let's think about it. I mean, he had let's call it a sophomore slump. He did not look very good last year. There were a couple wideouts that looked like crap coming off a huge rookie campaign. That was Calvin Ridley, who took himself out of the game. Didn't look very good when he was in there, and then took himself out of the game, and then we know all the gambling allegations and all that. And DK Metcalf, who did not look very good. So, to me, if you're Seattle, you've already traded your franchise guy. Of course, he's been there a while, double-digit years. I get it. You're going to move on. You're probably going to get into the quarterback. I'm not so sure if I'd trade DK Metcalf at this point if I'm Seattle. I would take next year is try to compete, but that division's too tough. That division is on fire. I mean, Seattle went 7-10 last year, but the 3 other teams made the playoffs, and 2 of those teams were in the NFC Championship game. So if I was Seattle, if I was the GM, I would not trade for DK Metcalf because his value is going to be too low on the market, in my opinion. Unless you get some crazy deal and then get a rookie quarterback and rebuild. Husker Raider says, DK tweeted out saying he isn't going to KC. Oh, well, that's good. I think they have enough over there. Let's see. He actually made fun of them. I like that. He made fun of them. Good job. Let's see. Kerry Williams says, I really hope they would have kept Phylon. Phylon got hurt. And if you don't know, he had knee surgery. He had some complications. I'm not so sure what happened, but he had to have a second surgery, I believe. I like Phylon. He's a heck of a gamer. I'm not so sure he can play on every down. But when he comes in, maybe 30% of the snaps, he can disrupt inside, and he plays the run pretty well inside as well. But I'm not sure if he's even going to be ready for 2022. Let's see. EC Everett says, I'm expecting it. Honestly, Dominique says, thank you for asking. I'm taking it day by day. It's rough. Well, good luck to you, Dominique. If you guys don't know, Dominique had shoulder surgery, recovering. So best wishes to you, obviously. So can come here and join the live streams, and hopefully that'll be part of your rehab. But yeah, I hope you recover very quickly. So let's see. Space for Rent says, are we done at wide receiver? I would say yes. Barring like, hang on. I'll take a drink. Barring like, like a cheap, like Deshaun Jackson type 1 year deal if he wants to come back. Something like that. Nothing huge. I think we're done at wide receiver. And, frankly, I mean, that's a strength now, especially with Adams. Expecting something from KC. EC Everett says, having a competent offensive line coach should help a lot. I can only assume Tom Cable forgot to mention hand placement to any of them ever. They didn't punch, they hugged. Yeah. Especially Leatherwood. Wow. I mean, when they drafted him 17th overall, the old regime was like, oh yeah, he's one of the best tackles. We had him number 1 on our board, not Penei Sewell, not Darisaw. And it was just like, not Tevin Jenkins. It was like, oh, Leatherwood's number 1, and he doesn't give up a sack, and blah, 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 and Alabama, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I was like, oh boy, here we go again. So what's done is done. Can we salvage him from the old regime? And that's what kind of shows me more or gives me more confidence and competence of the new regime, because you can see the moves. They're kind of, especially on the defensive side, moving away from certain things, upgrading. Like I said, it wouldn't surprise me if Trayvon Mullen gets traded, especially if we sign Gilmore. It would not surprise me at all. It's going to be one of those sign and deal. That said, I'm really wondering what we're going to do with Leatherwood. And that's going to be a huge question. Again, why not go get a cheap veteran tackle? Even if you're going to put Leatherwood back at right tackle, why not give someone to back him up just in case? Like we did with Andre James last year at center. Let's see. Space for Rent says, I wonder if they will use that $20 million post June 1st, how they will use it. Probably a tackle, probably another defensive tackle. Depending on what they do in the draft, probably another linebacker maybe. I don't know. We'll see what they do after the draft. So the draft is at the end of April, so that would be interesting as well. Definitely, and Space also says, definitely need a defensive tackle that can push the pocket. Yes. Larry Ogunjobi. Get well soon, Larry Ogunjobi, please. It's the guy I want. I think he would feast. I mean, Hendrickson and Hubbard, they're good pass rushers, but I think Max and Chandler are even better combo. So look what Ogunjobi did last year with Cincinnati. Plus, he's flexible. He can play over the nose if you need him to, if you want to, if Coach Graham wants to bounce him around. That's the guy I'd want if he's healthy. Kerry Williams says, you will see a whole different car. I agree. I think so as well. Dustin is vanilla defense. Yeah. Kenyon Drake is a good running back. We didn't get to see him at his full potential. I like Kenyon Drake. I think we overpaid a little bit, and I'm not as confident between the tackles with him. I want a bowling ball kind of guy. I talked about Damian Pierce in the draft. Take a look at some tape on that guy. I mean, it's like his lower body's twice as big as his upper body. He's got like tree trunks for legs. Third or fourth round, that would be an absolute excellent pickup for us, University of Florida. So go ahead and after the live stream, check him out. And if you looked at the combine, he could catch the ball too. He didn't do it a whole lot at Florida, but he could actually catch the ball in the flat. He looked pretty good at doing that as well. Space Marine said DK training for the Olympics. Maybe. What event? He could probably be one of those guys who could do the track and like bobsled. I mean, he's so big. I mean, he could do both Olympics. That would be awesome. Earth Daughter says, I want a bunch and headed home. Awesome. Good. You took the advice of old Kenny Rogers there. You knew when to fold them. So you took the money and ran, huh? It's a different song, but anyway. Kerry Wilson says, I've seen Phylon's tweet earlier. He said he could play all the time. All the time. They would see what I'm capable of. They didn't play him all the time. Well, I mean, I saw spurts with Phylon, so you could say that. But you could say it's on Gus, or you could say, or Gus and Marinelli, or you could just say he just wasn't good enough. He couldn't do it consistently every play. He couldn't be out there every play. I would be interested to see if he can get on the field this year, especially after a second surgery. But I like the kid. I like him. I thought he was pretty good with the Chargers. I think he was a little underutilized. They let him go there. So, yeah, I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for him to be healthy and get back on this team. Trey Anderson could be a fun linebacker to watch. Where's he from, Husker Raider? Let me know about that. So, let's see. Space Ferret says, do you think Kuntz will be moved to linebacker or we keep him at defensive end? I think he was drafted to replace Yannick Ngakoue as that Leo/edge player, and I think that's where he'll be. I think Devon Diablo will be kept at linebacker. I think he's going to be in rotation on the edge, Kuntz, and I'm really interested to see how he does. Put on a little bit more weight. That was my knock on him. He looked good in college. And then in the preseason, he looked horrific. He looked terrible out there. He was too light. He was getting pushed around. And, I mean, as the season progressed, though, he was looking a little bit better. So this could be another kid, this Malcolm Kuntz, University of Buffalo, like Mac, but he plays more like Yannick, who could kind of step up in his second season. So I like him. We'll see. Jesse Davis could be a decent signing. Miami just cut him after signing Armstead, but he started a lot of games at right tackle. Yes, certainly upgrade over Parker. I mean, yeah. I don't mind Jesse Davis. A decent player. Again, we can't sign, we can't get the best player in every position. We got salary cap. I think he's a decent player. I'd be wondering how much he's going to want. But I honestly don't think we're done yet at the tackle position. Space Sprint says DK doing sprints. Yeah. I know he's a sprinter, but I'm wondering with that body physique, he could also do something like the bobsled. That's what I was saying. It's kind of crazy. Let's see. I hope Phylon comes back. I'd rather have him over Vickers. Yeah, Vickers is kind of a fringe player. Phylon, in my opinion, Phylon's way better. Had that terrible knee injury in the Charger game. Again, took a step back in his rehab. I believe he had a second surgery last week or the week before. So I'm pulling for him. I like him. Got a lot of grit to him. But I don't know if we can count on him for this year. It'd be nice to even put him on like some kind of reserve deal or something. I don't know. But we'll see. Let's see. You guys have anything else to say? We're almost at the 1 hour spot, and all of you longtime listeners and watchers know I kind of like to end it at about an hour on these live streams. Let's see. I'll take a couple more comments here before we kind of close it out here. Husker Raider says Noah Ellis would be a steal in the later rounds if we got him. He's like a mini Jordan Davis. Yeah, he's Noah Ellis. Noah Ellis, we talked about, I believe, in our mock draft 1.0. And yeah, when we did a few of those, and yeah, he's straight nose tackle kind of guy. It wouldn't surprise me. I wouldn't mind John Ridgway. He had an okay combine, but I think there's room for improvement there. We could probably get him with one of those 5th round picks. We'll see. So 6'4", 366. Yes. Yeah. I don't know if he's not as talented as Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis lit it up at the combine. I did a video on it. You can take a look at it yourself. I actually used the combine footage. Very flexible and speedy for his size. Unbelievable. If the Chargers pass up on him, I would be absolutely floored. They've had a lot of problems in the middle, especially a defensive tackle. They've spent some draft capital there. Hasn't worked out for them. So Space Ferment says, great show, bro. I appreciate it. And thank you for coming out. I think we're going to close this out right now. Thank you, Dominique. You said that as well. Thank you. Great show. Appreciate it. The show is only as good as you guys coming out here and participating as well. Otherwise, it's a give and take and a back and forth. I set the table, and then we have a conversation. That's the best part of this. This is the best part of the live streams, in my opinion, or the question and answer segments. And as Sandy B says, if you are enjoying this, hit the thumbs up button. It tells YouTube that you like this content, and it's going to spread the word. And if you're watching this on a replay and didn't catch this live, to get involved with the chat, why not subscribe? Hit that bell notification, set it to all. I know it's a pain in the butt. You got to do this with YouTube. You got to hit that bell notification, set it to all. And your device, like your phone, my old phone here, or your tablet, you got to set the notifications, allow notifications to YouTube. That way, once I first drop a future live stream, I usually do it usually the morning of that I do it, you will be notified. It's going to pop right up on your screen, and you will not miss another live stream. And again, don't miss the next one. Next one is this Saturday, 6 o'clock Pacific, 9/8 Central. We're going to be doing mock draft 2.0. And we're going to be starting in the 3rd round. Just like the Raiders, we're going to be doing some trades. We're going to see who's available and see how we can round out this roster that's really kind of coming into its own. Overall, I'm pretty impressed with this new regime. We went out and got Devontae, what we needed. Chandler Jones, I think, definite upgrade over Unique Ngakoue. And we pulled Rocky Sin, a decent man kind of coverage quarterback. I'm liking what I'm seeing from the new regime. And again, let's come meet me here. We'll meet back up this Saturday, 6 o'clock. I appreciate you guys for coming out. And as always, go Raiders.
Ask you something. With all the distractions that you have off the field, how are you able to keep focused on winning football games as you do and do throughout the years?
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.